everyone said life stacking is dead. Everyone said Rathbit got nerfed. Ada Lewis got destroyed. Surely life stacking has to be bad. Or does it? Good morning, gamers. Today I bring you a life stacking build. You could say it is a ghost from the past. The not so distant past, considering that until like a couple of weeks ago this was completely viable to play in this game. However, after the nerfs, everyone has been saying that life stacking is so bad and Witch is unplayable, or some shit like that. I'm not entirely sure. At least I get the feeling that they do. Anyway, that being said, life stacking is exactly the build that I've started my league with. It is actually quite budget friendly, considering that since people are not playing it, it is not very expensive. So the items that I'm using for it are 3 Grand Spectrums, the rubies of course, for more life. This completely useless sapphire, as I have nothing better for it, and I've not played that much, so I'm kind of a broke boy right now. The most important item is still the Rathbit. It basically got halved, but it is still very good in my opinion. And in fact, it is even better if you are mana stacking. But to do that, it will cost a lot more currency, so we're not gonna get into that yet. Maybe in the future I will be mana stacking with the Rathbit. Stay tuned for that. Either way, I have a Veil. It's a 61%. It only cost me 2 div to buy this, which is a pretty good deal. You can get a 50% for like 1x, basically free. Chaos, uncorrupted. Same for the Rathbit, I just don't want to break them for the most part. The wand I'm using is pretty garbage. It's only got +5 and 100% lightning damage. Aside from that, it's pretty much completely useless. So, very, very budget friendly wand. I have a Choir, and Choir is quite cheap. Genuinely, the most expensive part of this build is actually the fast metabolism allocation on the Choir. As I'm making this video, it costs almost 4 div to instill fast metabolism. Purely because it costs double suffering and 1 isolation. Aterius Acuity, not very expensive, but I guess mid-priced unique, but pretty cheap. The rings, they just have life, cast speed, strength, bit of lightning damage here. I have a grip with % max life, gain and double crit, which is quite good. The boots are just life, strength, cold. The cold res doesn't matter, but the chaos res does in theory matter, but it's not super relevant. We have a belt with max life and flask life recovery rate, as well as increased life regen during effect of any life flask. Even though I don't have the tech rods jewel, the life regen still matters, since our main source of sustain is leech, and I guess the life flask a little bit. But yeah, that basically sums up the build. The rest of it is just regen from here, arcane surge turns to life regen from here, damage, more damage, crit, crit, more crit here, crit there, and a little bit of tankiness from this. The Immortal Infamy, along with these 3 nodes, is 4% max life on kill, which actually does matter in these early maps where you're not completely invincible. Now, eventually I will become completely invincible, but until then, these nodes do kind of matter. It's essentially a cannibalism support gem, except it doesn't go spirit, which is important because we have no spirit since we're using Chaos in this setup. And yeah, that pretty much sums up the build. It's about the same thing as last league. I am using Mind Over Matter since there's no need to have blood magic, since the only skill we're casting is Spark and sometimes Sigil of Power to buff ourselves from bosses. But yeah, even though the mana just kind of disappears since the life flask drains it completely, it might matter here and there, so no reason not to have it essentially. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me map through with a life stacker. I hope this inspires some of you to play life sacking yourselves, despite the nerfs. You know, we can have the oops all nerfs build come to light. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.